Through Project Up, Comcast is working to help build a future of unlimited possibilities. From connecting people to the internet to opening doors for the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and storytellers, they are helping to create a future that benefits generations to come. Comcast is committing $1 billion to reach tens of millions of people with the skills, resources, and opportunities they need to succeed in a digital world. Project Up, building a future of unlimited possibilities. Learn more at comcast.com/projectup.
Hey, Optimal Startup Daily listeners. This week we're sharing something special, the No Priors podcast. No Priors is your guide to the AI revolution. At this moment of inflection in technology, co-hosts Alad Gill and Sarah Guo ask the world's leading AI researchers and legendary founders the biggest questions. How far away is AGI? What markets are at risk for disruption? How will commerce, culture, and society change? What's happening in state-of-the-art research? You can find No Priors wherever you get your podcasts. This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 969, Why It's a Blessing Not to Work 996, Part 1, by Dr. Jenny Brockis of drjennybrockis.com. And I'm Dan, your host, and welcome back to Optimal Startup Daily, or welcome for the first time if you're just discovering the show. This is where I simply read articles to you every day, articles covering business and entrepreneurship and related topics. So today's post is a little bit longer than normal, which means I'll be reading the first half for you right now, and then I'll finish up the rest tomorrow. So let's get right to part 1 from Dr. Jenny as we optimize your life. Why It's a Blessing to Not Work 996, Part 1, by Dr. Jenny Brockis of drjennybrockis.com. Counting our blessings is a wonderful way to enhance our appreciation for what we have. When we feel grateful, we elevate our mood, lower stress levels, and feel more calm, confident, and capable. While the choices we make around how we live and work are unique to us, we're also highly influenced by societal and cultural norms. It's been estimated we spend about a third of our lives at work, and unless you're self-employed, it's a contractual arrangement. You are employed to perform a number of tasks for which you receive a paycheck. Sometimes we love the work we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're asked to do overtime, and sometimes there's a culture of expectation to put in the extra effort and hours as a way of demonstrating your commitment to the cause and worthiness of being considered for promotion. There's just one problem. Overwork doesn't work. Studies have shown how working beyond 55 hours a week adds little, if anything, to productivity. It seems that 40 hours is the optimal amount. Not only that, overwork can lead to significantly poorer mental and physical health. John Pencavel from Stanford found that overwork provides insufficient time for individuals to restore and recover, meaning subsequent work performance suffers. Which is why when I read the reports of Jack Ma, the billionaire founder of Alibaba, extolling the virtues of working 996, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, as a huge blessing for Chinese workers, I was aghast, frustrated, and above all, angry. Because overwork is killing people. Think I'm exaggerating? Sadly not. In 2016, the Xinhua news agency reported how 600,000 Chinese workers die each year from spending too much time on their jobs. Gualaosi is the Chinese term for death from overwork, and in China, unsafe and excessive working hours sadly remain widespread. Many of these deaths are not reported on, though the death of a 31-year-old Chinese surgeon, Fang Peihu, in the Anhui province was. His adoption of overworking practices over an 8-year period being upheld as a virtuous example for others. His death led to a backlash where other medical practitioners condemned the practice. The culture of overwork is not new and is certainly not limited to China. Karoshi is the Japanese term for death from overwork, commonly due to heart attack, stroke, or suicide. In a previous blog, I wrote about how 1 in 5 Japanese workers were identified in a 2015 government survey as being at risk of death by overwork. If 20% of the overworking population is truly at risk of death from overwork, how can that ever be conceived of as a prerequisite for success? Recognizing the seriousness of the problem, the Japanese government is now taking steps to introduce work interval reforms and are considering a mandatory annual 5-day holiday. Are you too tired to think? It's easy to feel a certain smugness in the Western world that type of overwork is not condoned, but of course we have been just as guilty. As a junior doctor working in the NHS in the 1980s, it wasn't uncommon to be working the dreaded 1-2, where you were on call every second night. Here you worked your usual day shift, then stayed at work on call all night, often getting little or no sleep, followed by another normal workday before finally getting home for a night in your own bed. It's a wonder we didn't either kill our patients or ourselves in the process. The level of sleep deprivation here is frightening, especially in light of understanding how this impacts our ability to think, make decisions, and process information quickly. Once we have been awake for 17 hours, our level of cognition drops to the level equivalent to having a blood alcohol reading of 0.05. The death of 21-year-old Bank of America intern Moritz Erhardt in 2013, after working 72 hours straight, caused ripples in the global finance industry, where the culture of working 15-hour days and pulling all-nighters had been seen as normal for ambitious interns keen to make a mark and get a full-time position. As a result, Goldman Sachs made a move towards addressing this by imposing a ban on working between midnight and 7 a.m. Sounds good, doesn't it? Until you realize that still allows for a 17-hour working day and doesn't take into account travel time to and from your place of work, downtime with partners and family, and time to sleep. The luxury being afforded here is around 5 hours sleep a night. Wonderful. Not. We do our best work when refreshed and re-energized with sufficient downtime to eat, sleep, and relax. Working hard to achieve a positive income is not without its merits, but this is about recognizing when to stop and acknowledge our physiological and psychological limits. Being told you can only expect success by sacrificing your health, family, and your life for work is a blatant untruth. It's time to get smarter about how we work and abandon the wrong idea that you can only achieve success by working yourself into an early grave. It's about doing less to achieve more, challenging time-wasting procedures and inefficiencies, and seeking to innovate new and better ways of functioning. To be continued. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled Why It's a Blessing Not to Work 996 by Dr. Jenny Brockis of drjennybrockis.com. The thing about running your own business is every single hire counts, but finding great talent doesn't have to be a second job. You can reclaim your time and find top talent fast with Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform helping over 3 million businesses worldwide to do it all. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates. Over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates the moment they sponsor a job. Now, I especially love Indeed's Instant Match feature because candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/startup to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/startup. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Quentin here runs a sustainable clothing brand.
Hi there.
He's excited that his shipping company FedEx has set a goal of having carbon-neutral operations by 2040.
Impressive.
When an influencer tweeted about his recycled bamboo t-shirts, Quentin unexpectedly became quite popular.
I'll take it.
He uses FedEx to reach new customers around the globe while making Earth a priority. FedEx, where now meets next.
Thank you to Dr. Jenny for sharing this post. As a keynote speaker, she has presented to and worked with thousands of people to empower them to cultivate their own thriving mind. What gets her out of bed in the morning is the opportunity to impact someone else's world, seeing that spark of insight in their eyes when they see what they can do for themselves. As a voracious reader and prolific writer, she continues to indulge her curiosity and has just published her 4th book titled Thriving Mind: How to Cultivate a Good Life. And as a board-certified lifestyle medicine physician and best-selling author, her vision is to enable everyone to be a happy, thriving human. And her site has tons to offer, so please do check it out at drjennybrockis.com. That's drjennybrockis.com. But that does it for today. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this post, and like I said, I will be back here tomorrow with part 2. So I'll see you there, where your optimal life awaits.